Hey everybody, QuazyMan4268 here, and I'm going to be talking about Marvel's multiverse and how it really hasn't been explained. Now, what you're seeing on screen is basically before the Marvel Cinematic Universe, stuff that really wasn't addressed and potentially could be in the same universe. None of this is official, but this is really just speculation. So basically, in the late um, 1970s through early 1990s, we got attempts by different studios to make different superheroes. What you're seeing right now is the Spider-Man TV show that really everyone just kind of forgot about. So we have that. We have the Incredible Hulk TV show, The Punisher 1989, Captain America 1990, and The Fantastic Four 1994. Now, basically, this is what I like to call pre-Marvel Universe number one. All these properties were kind of just left there, and I like to think that the properties that I showed you in the first picture, they're all connected. Not saying they are, but I like to think that they are. So this is one of the Marvel Cinematic Universes that is inactive. We're probably most likely never going to see this again. Basically, it's when superheroes were just getting their ground in the film universe. That's why I call it pre-Marvel universe. So basically, some of the stuff they had was pretty good. The Incredible Hulk TV show, I'm pretty sure was good, but what most people don't know is that in the Incredible Hulk TV show, Thor and Daredevil actually made an appearance. So that was pretty cool. I thought, hey, this is kind of a cinematic universe. Then I thought, what if all of these were connected? Kind of like what we know now, but in the past. So basically, I took the liberty of taking this extinct Marvel properties and putting them into universes that could fit. Nothing that will be too universe breaking. So here, obviously, we have Spider-Man. Not too important, because, Thanos isn't really a big player in this universe. And then we have the Incredible Hulk. So he can basically, all these characters exist in, they could exist in the same universe, and they won't know they don't know each other, but they could potentially be in this universe. So this is the first multiverse that I like to call it, the first multiverse, even though, once again, not official. So in this multiverse we have Captain America, Spider-Man, Punisher, Daredevil, Hulk, and Thor. So all these properties, in theory, could exist in the same universe. And as you can see on screen, we have, Thor fighting the Hulk, which I thought was pretty cool. I actually have this on DVD. I'm very interested to see what they have, or if I can find a Spider-Man TV show DVD, because that would be really cool. Now, these are probably the most well-known properties. What the properties that people seem to have forgotten about is the Fantastic Four movie and the Captain America movie that came out in the 90s. Now, people can definitely forget about this because, they weren't very good, but they still exist nonetheless. So, either you can choose to believe all of these exist in separate cinematic universes, or you can choose to believe what I believe and say that they all, exist in the same universe. So, basically, after all of this, in the late 90s, other studios that had bought rights for different characters started making their own movies. And we'll get into that with the pre-Marvel Universe number 2. Pre-Marvel 2 is basically when big properties such as Spider-Man, Hulk, Ghost Rider, and Blade started getting actual good movies. Spider-Man was probably the most successful, but around this time, the XMen movie came out, and I'll get into that in a bit later. But movies that didn't do so well, like Daredevil and the Hulk movie, they were just kind of left there and never got a sequel, obviously. The Punisher, well, it was a good Punisher movie, it was just left there, and we never saw it again. So basically, I took all these leftover properties and basically put them in one universe to where it wouldn't be too breaking for all of them to exist, but it would be cool to just think that all of them exist, kind of like what I did with the first one. So basically, in this universe, we have Blade, Spider-Man, Ben Affleck's Daredevil, the Hulk, Thomas Jane Punisher, and another version of the Ghost Rider from 2007. Now, when or if the cinematic universe announces that all of these are in the multiverse, if we ever do get a multiverse storyline, I would love to see all these movies come in a flashback if possible. But right now I'm gonna kind of get into the rights and why other movie properties, were either rebooted or just left there. So I'm going to talk about that now. So this section I like to call Just a Mess. In this section we got a rebooted Ghost Rider. A lot of people thought it was a sequel, and it was a sequel reboot. Same actor, different origin story, and just different aesthetic to the whole movie. And I thought it was a good movie. It was a good action movie, but once again, like the other movies, it was left there, never to be seen again. So I've put it in kind of pre-Marvel 3. Another reboot we also got was Spider-Man, and this almost got a trilogy, but didn't, due to the fact that they changed the tone and people didn't like the tone of it. So people just didn't like it. It made its budget, but it wasn't what we wanted. The character itself was good. Villains and plot, they were just no. One thing that is kind of confirmed is the Punisher Warzone movie and Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance are actually in the same universe called the Marvel Knights universe. But I'm throwing Spider-Man in there because that is a leftover property just like these two. So we're probably never going to see them again. So now let's talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The most successful, known, and what we love. So the Marvel Cinematic Universe began in 2008 with Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk. And since then, we've gotten the Avengers and a bunch of basically movies that will complete individual characters' trilogies like Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. But also, what most people don't know about the cinematic universe is that everything Marvel Studios has created is connected to this. So, as a result, we got TV shows like Marvel's Agent Carter, and it was a pretty good TV show. We also got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which they're bringing in Inhumans, which is pretty cool, and Daredevil. Now, Daredevil is something I want to talk about for a little bit, because you may be wondering, why is the Punisher and Elektra in Daredevil? Didn't they have their own movies? Well, the rights to those movies reverted back to Marvel after Fox decided, hey, this wasn't a very good movie, didn't make a lot of money, so we're not going to make anything, and the rights went back to Marvel eventually. So that's why the Punisher is in here. And, Daredevil, because he went back. We also got Jessica Jones, which was an okay TV show, but wasn't very too big. So Spider-Man came back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he was rebooted for a third time in less than 10 years. So you may be wondering, how is Spider-Man in here? because Sony has like 5 years to make a Spider-Man movie if they want to keep the rights. That's what happened with The Amazing Spider-Man. Instead of making Spider-Man 4, they rebooted it again, and they got to keep the rights for a little bit. But since The Amazing Spider-Man 2 wasn't very successful with critics, Sony decided, hey, Marvel, we like what you're doing. You're inspiring a lot of other companies to build cinematic universes, so we'll let you share Spider-Man. In exchange, we get to use 2 Marvel characters in a Spider-Man movie. So that is why Spider-Man is back at Marvel. Well, 50% back. Sony can pull out of the deal whenever they want. And they also have to get a movie out by 2019, so 3 years from now. And the movie is going to be called Spider-Man Homecoming, and as far as we know, probably Iron Man and somebody else is going to be in the movie. We won't really know until Civil War comes out, but hey. So, now the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a beacon for other companies, movie companies, to look at. And so far, there are some pretty stupid ideas out there. I'm pretty sure The Ring versus The Grudge is happening, which is a really weird movie. Studios like Universal, who actually owns the solo movie rights to Incredible Hulk, which is why we haven't seen an Incredible Hulk movie since 2008, they're building their monster universe, which began with Dracula Untold. So, it's kind of, an interesting thing that studios are doing, and Marvel has been the most successful. Everything that Marvel Studios has put out themselves has been amazing. Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing a lot better, and Agent Carter was pretty good. So, yeah, that's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, you may be asking yourself, Jack, why did you skip the X-Men? I did not. I'm about to talk about them right now. 20th Century Fox. Greedy company, and from what I've heard, even the actors don't like the contracts they get. So they launched the X-Men movie in 2000, I'm pretty sure, and it was a success. But there were some bad movies that followed. Last Stand and Origins Wolverine, and they tried keeping the rights to the Fantastic Four, and they had a sequel in development, but after the failure of the reboot, I'm pretty sure those will eventually go back to Marvel. But in this universe, we have the X-Men, maybe the Fantastic Four, and Deadpool. Now, director for Deadpool, Tim Miller, said, if the deal, basically, if they can get Spider-Man to be in Deadpool 2, they will do it. But I think they're waiting to see how the Sony deal plays out and if it works with Marvel. So, basically, if they were to bring Spider-Man in here, Tom Holland Spider-Man, I think it would have to be a different version of Spider-Man. Okay? It can't be the Marvel one we know because, if anybody is to break the fourth wall, Deadpool's going to be the one to do it. So, I don't know. Either they use a new version of Spider-Man with Tom Holland, or they just use a different universe, or they bring him in from a different universe somehow. I don't know, but Fox doesn't really have the best track record. So, yeah. But what they've done with the most recent X-Men movies is pretty good, but a lot of people don't like them due to the fact that they're not comic accurate. No, I enjoy the X-Men movies, but I if they're building a cinematic universe, I want to see individual X-Men have solo movies first. Don't just go straight to X-Men. But, they've been doing X-Men for 16 years, so that's not gonna change. We have had a Wolverine standalone movie, and we've had Deadpool. Um, but I guess we're just gonna have to see how this all plays out in the future. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this Marvel multiverse video. If you want me to do a DC one, comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.